So this is Mac from JLPTBootcamp.com, here with another N5 grammar lesson. This time I'm going to tackle the wa particle. And the wa particle is one of those critical grammar points that you really need to master in Japanese in order to use it well. And so it's the wa particle and the ga particle. These are the two that kind of give people a lot of headaches. Even up to the N1 level, sometimes there's questions that involve whether you use the wa particle or the ga particle. So it's important that early on you start to understand the differences between these two particles and how they're used. And the wa particle, which it basically means, as for, or talking about this topic, or simply the. There's a lot of different definitions that kind of fit in their own little way, but they don't really fit every situation. And I should start off by saying that the wa particle basically has two different kind of functions that sometimes overlap. One is the topic marking particle, and this is when it's translated as talking about X. Now, there's another one, as for, that's more of contrasting, like you're contrasting two different things. So as for cars, they're expensive, but as for bicycles, they're cheap to own and operate or whatnot, when you're contrasting two different elements. At the N5 level, it's important to just try to focus on the topic marking function of it, but as you go up, to be able to recognize contrasting statements and things, that's something that you'll need to be able to recognize and be able to know when to use at the higher levels. But today we're going to focus mostly on the topic marking function of it, and kind of bordering on a little bit of contrasting. So the topic marking particle wa marks information that the listener already knows about. It's a theme or topic that is either understood from context or was mentioned earlier. So, for example, it can be used with proper nouns like Nihon, which is Japan, or Tanaka-san, Mr. Tanaka, because the listener knows specifically who that is or what that is. Or things that have only one instance, like the moon or God, Kami. The moon is Tsuki. And, there's only one, in some religions, there's only one God. And so when we talk about that, we can use the wa particle. It's also used to talk about generic nouns in general. So, for example, tsukue or keitai, which is a cell phone. If you want to talk about these in general terms, you would use wa. For example, keitai wa benri dane. So in this situation, you're talking about all cell phones as a general topic. So cell phones are pretty useful. Not a specific one, not the one that you have in your hand, but all cell phones in the world are pretty useful. And that's how you would use the wa particle to talk about that category of things. Now, because of the rule of the topic must be understood by the listener, we can't use wa directly after question words. For example, we can't say nani wa suki desu ka? That's grammatically incorrect to mean what do you like. We can use wa particles in questions if you want to talk about a particular topic. So, if you want to, narrow the subject down to movies or something, you could say, eiga wa nani ga suki desu ka? So, as for movies, what do you like? What movie do you like? Would probably be the answer to that question. You can use wa particle in that situation. You just can't use it directly after a question word of some kind. So like a nani or dare for who, you can't use it after those. You would need to use ga or other particles like o to mark an object of a sentence. You could use that after a question word, but you can't use wa. So, for example, the correct sentence would be nani ga suki desu ka? What do you like? And for wa particle, you can also think of it as a little bit like the icing on the cake. That is, it isn't actually necessary to convey the basic meaning of the sentence. So, for example, let's take a look at these two sentences. Kuruma wa takai desu. So, this means cars are expensive. All cars are expensive. And so here it's necessary if you want to kind of just talk about cars in general. But you could also just say takai desu if you're in a conversation, in the conversation, general topic of the conversation is about cars. Now, why would you have to add kuruma wa? It's if you want to be clear specifically. If the topic is kind of jumping around and maybe it's about bicycles or it's about trucks or something and vehicles in general, you would want to use wa to kind of mark that as I want to talk about this. Another way to think of the wa particle is this basic rule. The wa particle equals is, kind of. For example, anata wa tsumaranai. So you are boring. In this structure works mostly with adjectives. So thing wa adjective. So this thing is some kind of adjective. Is where this structure works, and you can translate it as that. However, you need to be careful. This rule doesn't really hold up all the time. For example, you can use the wa particle to order food like this. Watashi wa cheeseburger da. So if you used the previous rule, you would think maybe that means I am a cheeseburger, which it doesn't actually. There's a slightly different translation here, and this is, again, where we're using that contrasting kind of feature of the wa particle. So as the real translation would be, as for me, I'll have the cheeseburger. So contrasting myself against everyone else at the table, I'll have the cheeseburger. I don't care what you other people are having, but as for me, I'm having the cheeseburger. That's what I'm ordering. So that's the wa particle. If you have any questions, please let me know by dropping me a comment below this video. And if you have any questions about N5 grammar at all, please stop by the website, jlptbootcamp.com, and click on the Contact Me button. Or you can also email me. It's mac@jlptbootcamp.com. Love to hear from you any of those gazillion, billion ways. Keep studying. Be sure to share the video. Be sure to subscribe. And I will talk to you again very soon. This has been a grammar explanation video from the JLPT Bootcamp Premium site. Inside the site, you will find some extra goodies, for example, some cheat sheets for all of the videos. And those cheat sheets include a few things. For example, some common mistakes that people make, as well as some example test questions for the JLPT. If you're interested in taking the JLPT and you want that extra edge, something to kind of push you above and get the points that you need to pass, I encourage you to stop by the website at jlptbootcamp.com/premium. There you can find the cheat sheets as well as some extra practice with the grammar points that I've been talking about today. Hope to see you in the premium site very soon. This has been Mac from jlptbootcamp.com.